Mercedes Moné is once again at the center of controversy after firing back at fans who won't stop begging her to return to WWE. When one fan wrote that they wanted her to leave AEW and go back to WWE, Mone didn't hold back. She clapped back with a brutal response telling them to stop watching WWE and to start watching AEW instead. The tone was aggressive, the language sharp, and the message was clear. She is not going back. She is locked in with AEW, and WWE fans need to move on. In her own words, through her Mone Mag newsletter, Mercedes revealed a shocking detail that most fans never expected to hear. She admitted that she originally had plans to return to WWE at WrestleMania 39. She had discussions and had lined things up for what could have been one of the biggest comebacks in years. But the moment she was invited to AEW's All-In event at Wembley, everything changed. The experience of that show, the atmosphere of the fans, and the creative freedom AEW offered completely altered her career path. Instead of walking back into WWE, she walked straight into AEW, and she hasn't looked back. Mercedes Moné hasn't been shy about criticizing WWE's booking of women's wrestling either. After WWE announced the return of its all-women's pay-per-view, Evolution, Mone made waves by saying the company had waited far too long to bring the concept back. While she congratulated the women in WWE for getting another spotlight, she made it clear that WWE was dragging their feet on women's wrestling. Her comments went viral because they cut right into the heart of one of WWE's biggest criticisms: the inconsistency of its women's division. Inside AEW, Mercedes has been building her reputation as a true workhorse. At AEW Revolution, she battled Momo Watanabe in a match that left her shaken physically. During the contest, Mone was caught with a vicious strike to the throat. The impact left her with a bruised larynx, making it painful to even speak afterward. She revealed that she woke up the next morning with a raspy voice and concerns about long-term damage, but she still finished the match and successfully defended her TBS championship. Fans praised her toughness and grit, showing why she's one of the most respected wrestlers in the business. AEW isn't the only place we'll be seeing her. Mercedes Moné has been officially announced for NJPW's Capital Collision event, confirming that her deal allows her to cross over into New Japan shows. This announcement exploded online, with fans debating whether AEW would allow her to wrestle major names from NJPW's women's division. The buzz around who she will face is already at a fever pitch, with speculation pointing toward high-profile matches that could steal the show, adding even more fuel to the fire. Mercedes recently dropped a cryptic social media post following Brock Lesnar's shocking return to WWE. The post featured imagery tied to AEW's Hangman Page, with a tone that seemed mocking, almost taunting WWE's big moment. Fans instantly speculated that she was throwing shade at WWE for relying on part-time stars while AEW was building fresh matchups. The timing of the post could not have been more perfect, and it left the wrestling community buzzing about whether she was hinting at a bigger storyline or simply trolling WWE fans. Bayley, who remains one of WWE's top names, recently showed love for Mercedes despite the brand split between the companies. In a heartfelt message, Bayley thanked Mercedes for their shared history, mentioning the famous NXT TakeOver match that defined both of their careers. Fans took this as proof that their friendship remains intact and that personal respect exists between the two stars, even while they're working in rival promotions. This emotional shout-out reminded fans that Mercedes is not just an AEW starship, part of wrestling history across multiple companies. As Mercedes celebrates her AEW anniversary, she has reflected on how much her career has evolved since leaving WWE. In interviews, she's said that AEW reignited her love for the business and gave her a chance to create matches and moments she couldn't have under WWE's restrictions. She described the past year as the most fulfilling of her career, emphasizing how much she enjoys having creative control. This narrative only fuels her fanbase's loyalty, proving that she made the right move by committing to AEW. Mercedes has pointed out that AEW has given her opportunities WWE never would. She's been allowed to wrestle in main event caliber matches, carry a major singles championship, and consistently showcase her skills on television. She contrasted that with her frustration in WWE, where she often felt boxed in by booking decisions that didn't reflect her star power. AEW's willingness to let her shape her character has kept her invested, and she's made it clear she's not chasing a WWE return when she already has everything she wants in AEW. Fans have been extremely vocal about Mercedes Moné's career direction. Many praise her loyalty to AEW, arguing that she's the perfect example of how a wrestler can thrive outside of WWE's machine. Others remain skeptical, insisting that eventually she will take the money and head back to WWE. The debate has been trending non-stop on social media, with hashtags tied to her name spiking whenever she makes a headline. Whether you love her or hate her, it's impossible to ignore that she has become one of the most discussed wrestlers in the world. Her in-ring work has backed up the hype. Mercedes has delivered multiple championship defenses as TBS champion, all of which have been praised for their intensity and storytelling. The Revolution match with Momo Watanabe is already being talked about as a match of the year contender. The fact that she performed through an injury only added to her legend. AEW has leaned into this momentum, billing her as one of the company's cornerstone performers and pushing her as a standard-bearer for its women's division. Backstage chatter only adds to her mystique. Reports suggest Mercedes has significant input into her character presentation and match planning, with Toni Khan trusting her judgment. She's considered one of the locker room leaders in AEW's women's division, guiding younger wrestlers while still performing at the top of her game. This leadership role has made her even more valuable to AEW, not just as an on-screen star, but as a mentor who shapes the future of the division. There's also growing buzz about whether Mercedes will headline an AEW pay. She's said repeatedly that her dream is to main event a major AEW show, and she believes the women's division is ready for that spotlight. While critics argue that only her matches with Toni Storm have the star power to headline, Mercedes remains vocal that AEW women deserve the stage. This ongoing discussion has turned into one of the biggest debates in wrestling. Is AEW ready to book a women's main event on pay-per-view? And if so, who deserves that historic honor? Mercedes Moné's feud with Toni Storm continues to dominate headlines. Their clash at All in Texas was praised as one of the best women's matches in AEW history. Mercedes has since expressed her desire for a rematch, and fans are divided over whether it should happen at a pay-per-view main event. The dynamic between Mone and Storm has elevated AEW's women's division, creating a rivalry that feels genuinely must. Some argue that AEW missed its chance to pull the trigger on letting them main event All In, but the possibility of a future rematch still has fans excited. Another layer of intrigue is her potential matches with Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale. Mercedes herself has mentioned those names as opponents she'd like to headline a show with. The idea of Mone versus Statlander has fans buzzing because of their contrasting styles, Statlander's power versus Mone's technical and high-flying abilities. Meanwhile, Willow Nightingale brings history with Mone from their NJPW Strong days, and fans see unfinished business between them. Any of these matchups could provide the foundation for a groundbreaking AEW main event. The debate about whether Mercedes Mone is overrated or underappreciated rages on. Critics argue that her character can be grating and that she doesn't always draw the same reactions as Toni Storm. Supporters counter that she is one of the best wrestlers in the world, capable of delivering five-star classics and elevating anyone she faces. This divide keeps her constantly trending, because every performance reignites arguments across the wrestling community. Whether you're in the lover camp or the hater camp, you're talking about her, and that's what makes her invaluable. Financially, her presence has already proven to be a win for AEW. Her merchandise sales remain among the top for the women's division, and live crowds consistently react big to her entrances. The CEO dance has become a fixture at AEW events, with fans imitating her every move. The fact that she can create a viral crowd reaction every time she walks to the ring shows just how marketable she is. AEW is capitalizing on this star power, making her one of the most featured acts in the company.